So I have a feeling that LC Racing is going to have a lot more part orders once people see how similar these cars are. Stay tuned. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. First off, I want to apologize for not posting anything for the last month. Between my real job, my life, vacations, everything going on, I just haven't had any time to shoot any videos. But today's video is one that I've been wanting to put out for a while now since I've gotten the car, and it is the WLToys 104001, and we're comparing it to the LC Racing 10B5. And it's already kind of known that the WLToys models take a lot of their design characteristics directly from LC Racing, and obviously LC Racing takes some of their designs from someone else. But these two specifically are very, very similar. And in this video, I'm going to show you how similar they are, what the price points are, compared to each other, and what I've done to this car. And we're also going to look at what LC Racing parts will fit on the WLToys parts to kind of hop this thing up a little bit without really breaking the bank. So as you can see right off the bat, the WLToys models is not stock. I went ahead and put a brushless system in this. I know I didn't do a speed run or anything with the stock electronics, but there are a lot of videos out there already, and a lot of them are saying that they are very underwhelmed with the stock setup. I drove it around for a little bit. I put it on 2S. I put it on 3S, and it definitely livened it up a bit, but I would not recommend running it on 3S stock. And when I was running it on the 3S version, I ended up hitting something on the road and breaking a front arm. So that is the reason why I went ahead and bought some LC Racing parts and decided to try them on this car. And as you'll also see, I have new shocks, or one shock actually. And I just wanted to do this so you guys could see the difference here between the WLToys parts. This is the stock WLToys shock, front arm, C-hub. This is all stock WLToys. And on this side is all upgraded. So this is a Hobby Park shock that I found on Amazon. I'll link this down below. It's a little bit bigger than the stock one, but I ended up breaking this little tower plastic part here where the screw goes in on the stock one, so I had to find an upgrade just for the time being. And so like I was saying, this is all LC Racing. We have an LC Racing bearing carrier in here. The C-hub, everything is LC Racing, and I'll put up some pictures of the comparison between the two side by side. They are very, very similar. One very important thing to note when or if you are going to upgrade with some LC Racing parts is that the hinge pin design on the WLToys is a little bit different than the LC Racing. And what I mean by that is this is the stock WLToys hinge pin that I clearly bent here. And this is the LC Racing model. Now, as you can see, they are the same thickness and everything, but the WLToys uses a screw design, and there's a little hex that goes on the inside of the block here, and that holds this hinge pin in. On the LC Racing model, though, you have your own special aluminum block there that this goes right into, and that hinge pin is not going anywhere. So I 3D printed a little cup in the back here, and I'll see if I can get you guys, there we go. That is a 3D printed little stopper there, so that hinge pin isn't going anywhere. There is a little bit of wiggle room, and a couple of washers should tighten that up. But as you can see here, the designs are extremely similar. Even the cutouts in this look almost exactly the same. By the way, if you guys want to see a full in-depth review of the LC Racing 10B5, go check out the video over at RC Driver YouTube. I was fortunate enough to help Dean and Greg over at RC Driver film that video, and they really go in depth on everything you need to know about this car, the geometry, how it runs. So go over there, I'll link it up above, and you guys can check out that video. So getting back to these two cars, as I said earlier, all of the front geometry has been upgraded. I will do both sides when we run this car, but LC Racing parts will fit all up front here. I'm assuming that the rear A-arms will also be compatible back and forth, so that is something to note if you're looking to upgrade the rear. Another big thing that people are going to want to know is, will the LC Racing spur gear fit on the WLToys model? The differences between these two is like night and day. So once we take off the motor braces here, obviously a big difference is material. The WLToys is going to have a lot of this cheap aluminum, heavy metal, while the LC Racing car is completely decked out with a lot of carbon fiber. This thing weighs nothing. Getting into the actual differential itself, the LC Racing will come with two different types, the slipper assembly as well as the center diff. To the spur assembly, as you can see, WLToys really cheaped out here. This thing is almost solid aluminum. It weighs a ton versus this super lightweight. Everything is drilled out for maximum acceleration here. A lot of unsprung weight has been taken off of this. Bearings are sealed compared to these just regular bearings on the WLToys. This one obviously has a slipper assembly in there, while this does not have anything of the sort. So putting this in here, it does fit. It's not that great of a fit. It's fairly snug, which means that you can probably put this one into the WLToys. This will really be a huge advantage for those that are doing speed runs with this. It'll make the car accelerate a lot better and put a lot less strain on your motor and electronics. Another big difference between the two cars, obviously the shock towers. These are made out of carbon fiber, while these ones again are made out of that kind of really soft metal. These tend to bend on hard impacts and stuff like that. These, I haven't really seen them break, but this thing does take a beating. Some more differences: the LC Racing will have a full sway bar kit front and rear. This is really going to help with cornering and handling. Overall, just the build quality differences between the two is night and day. When you look at the price though, it really shows. This bone stock, ready to run, with a battery, remote, all the electronics, wheels and tires, everything like that, comes in at $150. When you come over here with this fully built LC Racing car, battery, your separate remote and receiver, motor, ESC, receiver, servo, this thing is going to be upwards of $600 to $700. So you really have to weigh the pros and cons of what you're trying to do with the car and what your budget is, obviously. This is specifically made for indoor carpet racing, while this one is targeted towards the outdoor recreational basher, even though they put on carpet tires. For those looking for different body options for their WLToys, this is a Proline body that I painted myself. It will fit on both. Obviously, the WLToys will fit on the LC Racing. So there are different bodies. This is just your traditional buggy style body. I'll try and link it down below. I forget the name of it. It's got a cab forward design for better aerodynamics. And just if you guys were looking for something else to put on this car instead of the stock one, it does come with the rear wing mounts as well. I painted mine red, but most of them will be clear. For my brushless upgrade on the WLToys, I put in here what I had lying around, and that was the ARRMA BLX system out of the 3S trucks. This is the BLX 100, I believe, and then the BLX 3200 kV brushless motor. Now, the pinion that comes with the ARRMA trucks and the ARRMA motors will not fit on this. The pitch is a lot different. So I went ahead and got these off of Amazon. This is a 4-pack of pinions that will fit the WLToys car. And I will link these down below. These are about 15 bucks. It comes with a all the way up from, I think it's a 17 tooth to a 29 tooth pinion. And I'm going to put the 29 tooth pinion on here and do some speed runs with it on 3S specifically. But what I noticed was I don't have any batteries that fit this. These are for my ARRMA trucks, and obviously that is way too big. So what I'm going to have to do is I think I'm going to have to re-solder a new connector on here because I don't really want to ruin this ESC. This is a perfectly good ESC. So guys, I'm just going to end this video here. Again, this was the comparison between the WLToys and the LC Racing 10B5. You can see I have both of the aftermarket shocks on there. I upgraded the other side with all of the LC Racing parts. Just have a cheap ARRMA servo in here, what I had laying around, and then a Red Cat Racing receiver and remote. So again, that is the overview of the 1040-01. The next video that I post on this car will be some speed runs with the ARRMA electronics in there. And we'll see you then. Thanks.